archaeology and Bible, which I teach both.
Wow.
Ancient history. So he's taught me so much in terms of content knowledge. So I just, yeah, I definitely improved my teaching, like no question about it. In terms of being a leader, though, I actually feel like it hasn't really impacted me that much in my school in terms of how I'm perceived or even how I see myself. I mean, in some ways, I feel like being a mentor is somewhat natural. Like I really enjoy doing it and I enjoy it, but no one really sees inside my classroom all that much. So, and in my school, I could go all day without seeing any other teachers. So I don't think it actually has impacted my school as much as I would want it to. I think other leadership things I've done have impacted the way people see me in my school. Last year, I started a partnership between a Muslim school and my school, and so that project went on, the second year of the project, of the exchange program. I think that's really changed the way people see me because it's taken a lot more going outside of my classroom. Like I've been collaborating with English teachers and social studies teachers and having multiple meetings in my head of school and all my different principals. So I mean, that has changed the way that people perceive me throughout the whole school.
Good job. Yeah, hold on. She's number one. So, Sherry, you talked a little bit a second ago about how you've been not only able to collaborate a lot with your partner teacher, but able to share that in a lot of ways with not just your school, but like the wider world of educators. And there's a little bit of like experimentation in your narrative in terms of, you know, you see what works and you see what doesn't, and you use that in your writing. How's that experimentation? And again, we're kind of thinking about the process behind all of this, the process of documenting it and sharing it. How does that affect your leadership of others and your sort of the same question as the others, your relationship with the other people in your world, of your school or the greater educators community?
So there isn't really anything that's more deli than reflective practice. And the process of writing, basically when Jody and I will come across something that we've done and we say, wow, this really works. Okay, what worked about it? And we, you know, once we analyze what worked and what didn't, we decide, is this something that other people might benefit from hearing? And, you know, the act of writing about it, whether or not anyone ever reads it, doesn't matter. The act of us writing about it, it's almost like journaling, but with a little bit more of a sense of the audience, I guess. But it has us looking at what is worth writing about and what isn't, and if it isn't worth writing about, why not? So it helps highlight the things that are going well and what we're doing, and it also kind of brings our attention to the things that need, you know, why is this not as successful as it could be? And I really, really liked what you said at the very beginning about leadership through transparency, or leadership as transparency. Because I feel like, I mean, what we're doing is making ourselves completely transparent. It's our teaching, essentially, I'm not going to say teaching journal because it's not, you know, that stream of consciousness, but it's putting our successes and our struggles out there. And we've gotten some really helpful feedback, but it's also, you know, there's a definite vulnerability to it.
Last question that I just want to ask all three of you, and again, just very briefly, we talked about successes, we talked about challenges. Just to highlight one more time a challenge that you faced either as a leader or a teacher, and I'm sort of using those terms fluidly. What are some things that either just like personally or through a system of support have you done to overcome some of these challenges? You can think of an example or just sort of a stance that you have. And I'll actually start with Rebecca so we can bounce around a little bit.
Well, I'll share a challenge, but it's not something I've overcome yet.
Okay.
It's something that Sharon and I were just talking about during the break, and she phrased it really well, so I'm going to try to phrase it as well as she did. But the challenge that I'm struggling with is my partner, my social studies teacher, and I were working on this project, this Muslim-Jewish exchange project. We're now in our second year of the program. And we feel like we've really gone above and beyond our expectations as classroom teachers. I mean, we're creating this whole new curriculum with the help of Facing History. And just, I feel like we're really going above our normal teaching responsibilities. And it's taking a lot of outside time. And so something that I'm struggling with is, just in terms of like my school culture, like how are teachers recognized for all this work work that is above and beyond, and in terms of, is there a possibility of restating compensation? And, and looking long term, like, is this sustainable? Like, how are schools going to retain teacher leaders in the long term if we're just acting out of our passion and love for what we're doing?
Sharon?
I feel like Jody and I have hit a point where our observations aren't enough, and I think we're going to start moving towards a research stance, because now that I guess it's a challenge and an opportunity at the same time, because now that we've done so much reflecting, and now we have some really deep questions about the practice of teaching that have been raised, and now we want to do some more investigating into those questions. And so we're thinking about ways to design surveys and ways to collect data and how to analyze that data, and we need to take it to the next level because it's raised so many questions.
Thank you, Darren.
So I realized one other thing that was impactful about the doctoral program that I'm doing was I read an article by Sharon here, or is she not?
Yeah, she's back in the corner.
So, okay. So it was only at one of the first courses in this doctoral program that I read Sharon's article, which she wrote, I believe 2001, right at the beginning of the Delet program, about the continuum of teacher development. And it was, reading that article was this sort of powerful experience, almost sort of like the Matrix, where it's this vision of teacher development that I was experiencing. And I was at a particular moment in terms of, just beyond the induction and beginning years, and starting to think of teacher leadership and what else I could be doing. And I kind of want to make the pitch that I think every Delet alum really has to read that article to understand the big picture of what we're doing as teachers and Delet alum and developing teachers. And that's to sort of connect that to the challenge that's also around this time that I had been teaching kindergarten for several years and was wanting to continue to be a teacher, a classroom teacher, but really wanted to be doing something different. And I had my eyes on another position at my school, in the middle school. There was an opening, but to convince my administration to see me as something other than just a kindergarten teacher, because I'd been doing that for several years, and it was almost sort of a negative because I was doing that well. I couldn't be seen as anything other than that kindergarten teacher. And it was a really uphill battle that I was sort of really grilled by administration, given a much harder hiring process than anyone from outside the school would be given. I was able to turn to many people that I knew through Delet in terms of middle school teachers, in terms of faculty I had worked with, in terms of ideas of what to do to make myself look like I knew about being a middle school social science teacher. And I think I was able, it was a real struggle, and I was able to get where I wanted to get, largely from help with people I knew through the Delet network.
Wow. So if you filled out your bingo card, hold on to it.